What if one song could refuse to disappear, even after years? What if one artist could quietly rewrite the rules of the global music industry while the world was still trying to understand how it happened? And what if that artist was none other than Jungkook of BTS? Welcome back to Jungkook Lover, the channel where we uncover the biggest stories shaking the world of music and the global ARMY community. Before we begin this unbelievable story, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Because today we're talking about a moment that may have just changed K-pop history forever. A record that refuses to fall. A song that refuses to fade. A star who refuses to slow down. Is Jungkook no longer just a K-pop idol, but officially the king of the global charts? Let's uncover the story that has fans across the world asking the same shocking question. The global music industry has seen countless stars rise and fall over the decades. Legends have emerged, shattered records, dominated headlines, and then slowly stepped aside as new artists claimed the spotlight. Yet every once in a generation, a moment arrives that seems almost impossible to explain. A moment when the numbers stop behaving normally, when the charts begin telling a story that analysts struggle to understand, and when one name begins appearing again and again in places where few expected it to remain. That moment is happening right now, and the name at the center of it is Jungkook. When BTS first emerged on the international stage, many critics underestimated what the group could achieve. Some believed the global music industry was too entrenched in Western dominance for a Korean group to truly break through. Others argued that K-pop would always remain a niche phenomenon outside Asia. But year after year, BTS proved those assumptions wrong. They conquered stadiums, broke streaming records, and built one of the most powerful fandoms the world has ever seen. Yet even within a group as monumental as BTS, Jungkook's individual journey has become something uniquely extraordinary. For years, fans watched him evolve from the youngest member of the group into a fully realized global performer. His voice carried the emotional weight of countless BTS songs. His performances electrified audiences, and his presence on stage often left fans wondering whether they were witnessing the rise of something far bigger than a traditional idol career. Still, few could have predicted what would happen next. When Jungkook released his solo music, expectations were already high. ARMY around the world knew his talent. They knew his charisma. They knew his ability to connect with listeners across cultures and languages. But what happened after the release of his music shocked even the most optimistic supporters. The charts began moving. Streams exploded across continents. Radio stations began spinning his songs repeatedly. Social media platforms filled with reaction videos, dance covers, and emotional fan tributes. And then came the moment that truly changed everything. The song 7 began climbing the global charts. At first, it seemed like a typical success story. A strong debut, massive fan support, impressive streaming numbers. But as the weeks passed, something unusual began happening. The song refused to disappear. Most songs enjoy a brief moment of chart success before slowly fading as new releases arrive. But 7 behaved differently. Week after week, it remained visible. Month after month, it continued appearing on the charts. Then the milestone arrived that stunned industry observers. More than 100 consecutive weeks on the global chart. 100 weeks. 2 years. A number that would already be remarkable for any artist, let alone a soloist navigating one of the most competitive music markets in history. Yet the story didn't stop there. Because when analysts examined the numbers more closely, they realized something even more shocking. 7 had not simply stayed on the chart. It had done so with a level of consistency that almost no other song by an Asian solo artist had achieved before. The record books were quietly being rewritten. Music critics began asking questions. How was this possible? Was it purely the power of ARMY streaming? Was it the song's universal appeal? Or had Jungkook managed to tap into something deeper within the global audience? Across fan communities, excitement grew rapidly. Screenshots of chart rankings spread across social media. Fans celebrated the achievement with trending hashtags, tribute videos, and emotional posts reflecting on Jungkook's journey. But the bigger question lingered in the air. Was this just a record? Or was this proof that Jungkook had reached a completely different level of global influence? Industry insiders began weighing in. Some suggested that Jungkook's appeal crosses cultural boundaries more seamlessly than almost any other modern artist. His voice carries a warmth that resonates across languages, and his image blends pop star charisma with an authenticity that fans find deeply relatable. Others argued that Jungkook represents the next phase of global pop culture, an era where the traditional barriers between Western and Asian music are no longer relevant, where artists rise based on connection rather than geography. Whatever the explanation, the numbers continued telling the same story. The chart presence remained, week after week, month after month. And then came the update that sent shockwaves through fan communities worldwide. The chart confirmed that Seven had reached its 134th consecutive week on the Billboard Global 200 ranking point 130. For weeks, more than 2.5 years of continuous presence. For many artists, even surviving a few months on such a competitive chart would be considered a career highlight. Yet Jungkook had quietly achieved something that bordered on historic. Suddenly, headlines began appearing across international media outlets. Analysts discussed the milestone as a symbol of K-pop's unstoppable global influence. Fans celebrated the moment as a victory not only for Jungkook, but for the entire BTS legacy. And in the middle of all the excitement, a new narrative began emerging. Jungkook was no longer simply one of the members of BTS. He was becoming something else, a chart-dominating solo powerhouse. The phrase "king of the charts" started circulating across fan communities, sometimes playfully, sometimes with genuine conviction. Screenshots of the chart rankings spread like wildfire online. Fans created artwork celebrating the milestone, while others compiled videos documenting Jungkook's journey from trainee to global superstar. Yet perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the entire phenomenon was the reaction from casual listeners who had not previously followed BTS closely. Many discovered Jungkook's music through viral clips or streaming recommendations. Some admitted they had originally clicked out of curiosity, only to find themselves replaying the song repeatedly. That kind of organic discovery is rare in today's algorithm-driven music landscape, but somehow, Jungkook had achieved it. Music journalists began revisiting his earlier performances, analyzing his vocal style, and exploring the elements that made his music resonate across such diverse audiences. They noted the emotional clarity in his voice, the smooth blend of pop and R&B influences, and the unmistakable sense that Jungkook performs every song with complete sincerity. Perhaps that sincerity is the secret. Perhaps that authenticity is why listeners continue returning to his music long after the initial hype fades. Of course, none of this happened in isolation. The support of ARMY has always been a powerful force behind BTS's global achievements. Fans around the world organized streaming events, celebrated chart milestones, and proudly shared the news across countless platforms. But even among the most passionate fan communities, sustaining a song's chart presence for over 2 years requires something more. It requires the music itself to connect. And Seven clearly did. As the milestone spread across social media, discussions intensified. Some fans wondered what this meant for Jungkook's future as a solo artist. Others speculated about the impact this achievement might have on BTS's eventual group comeback. Could Jungkook's solo dominance reshape the group's musical direction? Could his global popularity open new doors for BTS's next era? Or was this only the beginning of an even bigger story waiting to unfold? Because if history has taught fans anything, it's that Jungkook rarely stops surprising the world. From his early debut as the youngest member of BTS to his transformation into a global pop icon, his journey has been filled with unexpected turns. Each milestone seemed impossible until it happened, and now, another chapter has been written. A song that refused to fade. A record that refuses to break. A global audience that refuses to stop listening. The world may still be debating how to define Jungkook's place in music history. Some call him the Golden Magne. Others call him the future of global pop.